I was recording now.
It is recording.
So hi everyone, here I am. I'm here with Ozgen. We just did a whole week, well I say we, Ozgen's just taught us a whole weekend of workshops. We've had a fabulous time and I obviously couldn't let him go without doing a short interview. I've been wanting to interview you for a while, believe it or not, and this opportunity came up. And I know you guys would have a lot of questions. I'm going to try and remember things that people have asked me and try and feed it back to you. So the one thing that people ask me about in belly dance in general, and I know that some students asked you about this during the workshops, it's this whole thing about what is it like being a male belly dancer? And I put that in inverted commas because I think, well, I don't know what you think about that really. I would say, what is it like being a male dancer in the belly dance world? How is it for you?
It's interesting. I mean, I consider myself as more like dancer and then artist, of course, because I create a lot of different things. Like I sing and I write poems and everything, and I used to paint as well actually. But nowadays, of course, dancing is taking a lot of my time. It's interesting. I liked called male belly dancer years ago, but now it's becoming a little bit cliche name, and then just like okay, I'm a male belly dancer. I said, wow, that's so interesting. And but I come to a point that I don't want that to be that interesting guy. I just want to be recognized as a dancer and artist. And it just, yeah, I'm a dancer. I create things.
Yeah. I think it seems to me the belly dance world is getting to that place finally where we can kind of lose the sort of label of like, oh, a male belly dancer, put them in that box, you know, there they are. And it feels like, and I think, you know, I think you've done a lot to help get rid of that label as well, I think, because you're so broad with what you do and you're so authentic with what you do. And I think, you know, it's sort of got rid of that stereotype of...
And then the thing is, like, if some other dancers, they introduce themselves, they study, let's say, musical type or drama type, they wouldn't necessarily say, I'm a male drama dancer or I'm a female, because that's kind of weird. I mean, they will say I'm a guy anyway. But sometimes I think it's almost like a selling point. It was a selling point to say male belly dancer. But now I come to a point, obviously in my career as well, because I've been around for a while. It's almost like a Cirque du Soleil, and I feel like I need to do circus movement. I need to like circus movement
spectacle,
or just do that. And then my style is not too commercial in a way. So I mean, I can do all this belly fluttering and everything, but I don't do it. You know what I mean? So, so maybe people will expect from male belly dancers that concept to do shimmy and undulation. And seriously, in my routine, some of you might know, I don't have those kind of elements. I have a lot of steps and technical aspect.
Who are the dancers that have inspired you the most? Male or female, whatever.
Or, I inspired from many dancers and many people. I think for me it's a little bit maybe more wide agenda that inspiring, because I inspire from let's say a mother, because it's the relationship with the kids and everything that's inspire me. The emotions inspire me, and I always say in my classes or the workshops, when I create a dance, I inspire from everything and many things, but it comes natural, of course. I'm kind of a guy goes to music concerts and doesn't watch the singer. I watch the pianist, how they shake their hand and all the face expressions. But in dance world, especially in the Middle Eastern belly dance, because I'm Turkish, I've been inspired from Nesrin Topkapı. She's like an old school belly dancer. But my favorite dancer, I mean, I love all of them. I think everyone has different style. Whether you feel connected or close to them is different thing. But I really feel connected and close to Nadia Gamal. I was telling you later.
Yeah, we talked about
this. I love her. Her style, the way, the feeling. I think she's got a beautiful feeling and very masculine in a way, very strong in a way. So I kind of really inspired from her nowadays a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Someone for you to look up if you haven't looked up.
Watch her up.
Her
Nadia Gamal is so good.
Look her up. Yeah.
Because I think I like more dramatic. My style is quite dramatic and theatrical, and I think she has that element.
Oh, okay. That was my other question. I mean, like, you know, anybody who follows you, who's known, sees your style, it is dramatic. It's more than just like a dance. It encompasses everything. And actually, I found this quite challenging in the workshops, even just the shapes that you make and what you do. It's not just a step here and a step there. Your whole body has to do it. And I think there is that theatrical. It's like you feel like if you were sitting at the back of a theatre, you would see that so clearly. And it's really bold. And I wonder, have you always been like that as a dancer? Or is that, how did you get to like...
this is
how
me.
you are now,
This is me. I think, of course, some of the moves that I do in the workshops is inspired from other people. Like this kind of hands that I do, it's more from Nesrin Topkapı. And I took few classes from her, and she does that often. But I change it a bit. But the thing is, style. What is my style is now it comes to me naturally. So I don't sit and say, okay, I'm gonna create. I'm gonna make it deliberately. That it comes naturally. You know, inspiration comes naturally, and it comes like so. I think this is how I pursue or see things. They come to me like that. I like to creating things. And I like, when I do routine, I like creating persona and lyrical kind of. So I listen to music, and then I listen to music all the time, and then see what the music tells me, and I create the specific moments for that moment. So I don't have set menus, say, okay, I'm gonna do for there, and music is that. So it's all fresh in that specific music. So... But I think they come naturally. Yeah.
And I mean, the thing about your dancing is that it's so emotionally connected when you perform.
Thank you.
Like, from the moment you're on the stage all the way through. And it really, you do feel like you've taken on that character. And like you said, it does have a dramatic, lyrical quality to it. I think many of us would love to be able to incorporate that kind of thing, and it's very bold and it's very confident, and you're so immersed in that moment, which is, I think that's how we all want to feel when we dance. We all want to feel like we're inhabiting the dance almost, and it obviously has come naturally to you, right? Well, I'm assuming it's come naturally.
It's come naturally. I mean, the stuff that I'm creating now, like for my routine and choreographies, on the stage I improvise more nowadays. Because I don't have so much time. But I like improvising as well. I think it's very organic. But we need to remember my background is from the big theater shows in Turkey. In kind of places called Sultans of the Dance or Fire of Anatolia. So when I wasn't a trained dancer, I always been dancer. Like folk dancing and everything. But they are hardcore. But not in a discipline. So when I was in Istanbul, I went to the audition in Sultans of the Dance, and they picked me up, and then I trained them many years, like the modern and ballet and everything. So maybe I shape my style with them, I have to say, because I learned so much with them. I take a lot of drama classes, stage presence. So that's kind of the background.
So that's a lot of where it's come from.
But it doesn't mean that I follow them. I just create my thing. Because they were doing traditional Turkish dancing, fusing with modern and ballet and stuff like that. So I think I kind of like inspired from them a lot.
And you obviously connected with that
with them. Because when I learned my discipline dance, like ballet and everything, I was with them. I was like 21 or something. So that's age kind of
when you're kind of sowing those seeds of how it's going to be.
I didn't appreciate it that time.
You never do.
All I wanted was to go out to drink and have fun in the world, and it was a hardcore. It was like a 5 days work, sometimes 6 days, like waking up in the 9 o'clock in the morning till 5, 6 o'clock dancing.
Wow.
It's a hard work.
And
now it's paying off. Yes,
it is, and I think it seems to me like you have a very strong work ethic, because I met you, 10 years ago, 11 years ago? Quite a long time ago. you know, we were both like a bit younger then. I don't know. No, you still look great.
You too, darling.
Well, you know, I'm not sure about that.
No, the dancer. I think dancer doesn't have age.
Do you think?
I think so.
Oh, you're being very kind. He's like this
not,
all the time.
Not in this,
so
not
nice.
in physical world, not in like your head. If you have the energy, I think the energy will show. Energy is count on for us. I think doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you even look like your face is like a lot of wrinkle, but your energy is there. You don't.
Yes.
It hide it.
I would agree with that. You can look. You know, there's some people that age really
bigger
well.
Than we are bigger than life. Oh,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and it's like, you know, you can have some people that have this sort of amazing face, but if there's not the passion and the life behind it, it doesn't really look so great. But
yeah, what you were asking, like 11 years ago.
I was Anyway, now we've said how old we are. So we met
10, 11
at
years
the
ago.
legendary Planet Egypt. Sadly, I don't think it's going now, but we met at the showcase there. I think you just come to the UK, had you?
Yeah, it was like my... I arrived to UK, and I think 6-7 months later Yeah. So I have a work ethic, yes, for sure.
Yes, and I don't think... What I was going to say was, I don't think you've stopped since I met you. I think you've just literally... For the last 10 years, you've just
true.
And deservedly so. You've done better, and you go around the world. And bless you, when I see you, you still come and say hi, and we still chat. And I can't believe you remember me sometimes. You know, it's really. But sweet.
You have to have a work ethic.
You've worked and worked and worked and worked, and I feel like, you know, out of all the dancers I've met, and I think you're probably one of the hardest working. Is that how is that possible?
But
is it
the
just
thing is, like, I
dance?
beat myself.
Do you have ups and downs?
Myself up and say, I don't work enough, but I think I do. I'm not sure.
I don't know when you would be able to do any more.
The thing is, when the work is your passion and your passion is work, and this is a lifestyle. This is how I like. I mean, I live. I wouldn't believe without art or creating something. I'll die. I mean, I prefer to die. So that's the thing. I kind of come to a conclusion. So this is it. You know, this is it. So I need to make it work. Yeah, sometimes I think I never stop. Maybe it's not good sometimes because I need to have a break too. Because
I've heard you say before that you do feel like it's your destiny. You feel like this is what you're destined to do. And it's obvious to me because I've seen it over a long, 10 years is a long time, and I've kind of seen you and followed you.
It's a difficult
world.
You can't fake that. It's a difficult world. I mean, to come to a point, you know what they say, it's cliche, but it's correct. You come to a point in your career, especially in the dance world or arts world, is something, but just to stay there, to be able to stay there on top or in the, like working and traveling is something. You can come there, but you can drop. But try to stay there in the lane, maintain there, or just go higher and higher. Yeah. It's something else, You have to really, like, first thing in life is dance. Dance. Girlfriend, no, family, no. First dance and after you guys. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I think... I think it's something to learn from as well because things have changed like in that time. Now we know how old we are. Things have changed and you can consume dancing so much quicker. You can watch it. You can watch about 10 outstanding performances on YouTube in a row. Whereas back in the day, I remember having my one video, my Stars of Egypt video, and watching it over and over and over and over. And that would have to last me for a year or, and then you might get, and then things changed. The belly dance superstars came along and things changed and we got hold of more. But these days, I think it can be deceptive, the work that goes behind those great dancers, because we can watch the videos so fast. I think a lot of the time people underestimate the dedication and the time that it takes to get to that level.
But we are lucky. We were.
Yeah.
Because I think
there was a moment.
I think there's something interesting about, like, when the information is restricted, it's more valuable. Yeah. It is correct. Yeah. Like as you said, before the belly dance style, I was a dancer. So I remember I was in high school, I graduated. I didn't go to my graduation day at all because I went to Istanbul to go to auditions, of course. But I was an amateur dancer, and then Then I was doing like Latino and everything. So I am going to go to audition. They want like modern dance and ballet technical routine for a mini torso. Me, I don't even know what is that. I was like, didn't know it. So I had like, I had two musicals, and I am, you know, where I born, there's not too much DVD and stuff like that you can buy. It's like basically the movies, not musicals. I had the Cats musical. That's why it's so important for me. Cats musical, all the songs I know it like by heart, and Notre Dame de Paris. Notre Dame de Paris, you know, the Hunchback of
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yes, that two musicals. I was watching, trying to learn and copy them, and the time that I put to watch it and try to do this amount so bad, too long. And then I went to audition with the Notre Dame de Paris specific song, and I was trying to imitate them. I didn't know modern dance, ballet, tandy, all these things. No idea what was it. I was just trying to copy. I went to audition and they accept me. But you know, the information was restricted, but it was more valuable.
And you focus on
maybe if I had like 10 DVD to watch, maybe I was gonna confuse because you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. I can remember like when I first got a performance DVD. I don't even remember who the dancer was, but I used to sit there and pause it and write a note, like half hip circle, and I used to write notes on stuff, and just focus on these tiny bits. And I think you're right. I think there is that danger of, I mean, you know, sometimes I'll have a new student and they'll message me and say, "Oh, I've seen this video. Can you teach us this in the class?"
But you say,
and it's a professional troupe who's probably trains 2 hours together a week, a night, you know, and has done that for the last 5 years. And
to do something is different things, but to do it well and perform is different. I mean, okay, I raise my hand and you follow me, but there's a energy work on how you do it. Where's your fingertips? What they are doing? I mean, I live. I do it and you do it. I mean, if you're a singer, you see what I mean. The beauty is in the detail. You see what I mean? So if there's no detail, there's no beauty. That's why the people are good what they do, because of the practice and because of the amount of the time they put in. You know, I think.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's something that like we can all take away as well. It shouldn't like make us think, oh, but that's, you know, I've got to do all this practice. I think it just goes to show that if you do the practice and you do put the time, you know, you get there in the end. It's, you know, and I guess another thing, a lot of people I know who read the blog and watch the videos and things, a lot of questions I get are about how to feel more confident when you perform and how to bring out a sort of performance persona, how to really get on a stage and perform, you know, with confidence. And I think it seems to me like, you know, you're so bold with your performing and you really get into the character. I want to know if you have like some advice for us, if you can help us with it.
That's a really good question.
Or is it too magical to put your finger on it?
It's like too magical, and I think there are some techniques you can do, but I think it comes as natural. It should come as natural, but it doesn't mean that like we performer, we go on a stage and we create a persona, our personality. It doesn't mean that we are so comfortable with ourselves in the daytime or out of the stage. Because at the end you're creating a stage. For me as well, of course, I get nervous before the stage, and so I have days, and some days very excited, some days not. But once you step on the stage, it's like a different personality comes out. That's why on the social media I call myself Mr. Ozgen, because Mr. Ozgen is someone else than me. Otherwise, maybe Ozgen is maybe more. It's like maybe boring. I don't know. Not in that way, but it's a different personality. But I think once you practice a lot, maybe you know that you are there, you feel more comfortable. Because when you're practicing something till an extent that you say, okay, enough, it stays with you. So the mistake that you might do, it's less because you practice a lot.
And you can pick it up again.
Yeah,
I think so. I think it's a question of not necessarily if you go wrong, but when you go wrong, you might do. It's quite, you know, even professional dancers do little mistakes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you pick it up so quickly.
Yeah.
If you know your stuff, you're able to get back into it. I sometimes say to my students when they're practicing, I say, I don't mind if you make a mistake, just don't let me see it. Just don't let me see it. You just get back into it. Don't show me in your face. Don't show me. And that's what I'm saying. You know your stuff. Get back into it. And
I think when you feel comfortable, obviously the belly dance is very nice because we welcome any shapes. You know, it doesn't matter if you're tall or skinny, bit bigger lady, doesn't matter. We welcome everyone. So that's kind of interesting and very nice point in belly dancing. And I think that person meets with the correct music. You need to love your music. If you don't like it, you don't feel the music, it's gonna go wrong. So you need to really step in that kind of mood and stuff like that. And I think to go on a stage, it's different feeling because if you're on it's a very different as well. If you're on a big stage, that where you don't see the people and you see the lights because of that, it's different than where you see the people.
Yeah.
It's a two different thing.
Yeah.
And then I been performing many years, and sometimes I'm just like, okay, like switch off. It's so different because when you see the people, you have the connection. And if I'm like sponge. I like I take energy and I feel people. So if I look at specific person, I feel them. My performance might go wrong and it might affect me. So there are different techniques as well. You can look to them, but actually you don't look at them. You kind of like looking there.
Okay, so
but
just over.
Yeah.
Okay. Tip.
Yeah, but you want to have a good connection with them too. You know. But it's interesting because when you're dancing, obviously they are sitting and you're taller. That's kind of psychology. So you're actually one more step powerful than.
Oh, I'd never thought of that. You're above them. You've got that. That sense of power.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
So they are they're in kind of passive position that you can speak to them. As you have 5 minutes, 2 minutes to perform. That's your slot. You know. But I think it's a bit of combination of practice and believing yourself, but not in a bold way. Believing in that performance and practice. Listen your music all the time, like till you say, okay, enough. You know, some of the routine I teach, I know the music by heart, and sometimes in the workshops, it might go wrong and you forget, or you forget the small details of it. So.
And I'm just thinking about your performances and things and what else it is that strikes me. The other thing is the costuming.
Oh, wow.
And I really want to know, like, how does the costuming work? Do you design your stuff? You have a vision of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So everything about me, I do it. I mean, the designing costume, the music, when I do big shows like light and everything, I have to have my touch in it. So I design my costume. And then in Turkey, I have costume designers.
Okay. So are they made
They make for me, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Obviously.
Because they're beautiful. They're like works of art in themselves. You know, you could just put them on the wall and it would look, you know, amazing.
I specifically have some characters, like when I design costumes. Because some of the belly dance costume can be a little bit too flowery or too pink. Pink for me.
Yeah.
So I like more like a theatrical costumes. Yeah, I design them. I have a vision. I sit with the boutique that I work with Bella, and they said this, and I chose the color and stuff like that, and they help me, you know, with the stones and everything,
and get all the embellishments right, because it's good. They're very rich. Your costumes. They're like, I mean, bling is like an understatement, really. But I think they're done in such a nice way. It's not just for the sake of it. It feels to me like the costuming, I can see that you visualise it as a whole.
Yeah.
Because if there's a skirt part, then it's to work with the thing. And not just to come back to this whole, you know, male belly dancer thing. You know, we've done away with that. I know we have. But when it comes to costuming, I have to ask you, how does it work? Do you think in terms of, that's a skirt bit, that's, you know, female bit, or that, so this is, or does it just not, do you not think in terms of labels or certain bits of costuming being like female dancer bit, or does it all just come together as...
It comes. I mean, I don't have
thing.
problem like to be costumed to be a little bit more feminine or masculine look. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I choose those kind of masculine
Yes, they are.
costuming.
Yeah.
But I choose it naturally. But I think it's nice. I mean, to do the belly dance, male, you gotta have a female and male feeling. And I think the performer, we don't have sexuality too, in terms of like feeling. You need to balance that in a way. Because like, okay, the moments I do maybe strong and masculine, but the sensuality is maybe feminine. You know, so it's a very strange relationship between masculinity and femininity.
I think
but the costume-wise, I try to choose more straight look, without any busy flowers and stuff like that. More straight look to the point. Yeah,
quite clean.
Quite clean cut. Yeah,
that's what I notice about your costuming. It is very kind of clean cut. And it's funny because the more you talk about this sort of masculine, feminine dance, it almost becomes very confusing when you try and define things too much, I think. The more you try and label stuff, the more you try and categorize things, the more ridiculous it all seems. I mean, it seems to me like I think you've done a really nice job of sort of kind of ignoring too many labels. You seem to have just
don't like it.
You seem to
don't
have
like
just
label
done
at all.
But that's what I love, and I think you've done that so well. And I think I'm being a bit mean because I keep trying to talk to you about it.
No, do that.
Partly because I think that you've sort of
labeling someone.
You seem to have just ignored all of that and just carried on. Done your thing, and I don't know how.
It's about the feeling. I mean, you feel vulnerable, or you feel you have the feminine part and masculine part, and to label it, it's difficult because when you label something, you put in a box, and then they can't get out of this box. And from my culture, I come from Turkish culture. We like labeling or boxing people like this and this. Turks do that. Turks eat kebab or this. We don't all. And then sometimes it's a bit stereotyping people, and then they cannot go away from it. Me, I don't like that, doing that too. I think to be in the moment, in that moment is important for me. And the masculinity, femininity, we have. I think that's gonna sound very like airy fairy, but we human beings are different. Especially nowadays. Maybe before we had more stereotypes, and it was difficult to go out of these stereotypes. But now I look to the young people, I mean, generation younger than us. And even me, we dress up more freely. Yeah. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, pink wear girls and blue wears boys. It's just ridiculous. Why?
Yeah. I think there is something definitely happening just generally, culturally, where things are getting less rigid and confined, and it's a bit, things are kind of like blending out and overlapping, and I find it quite exciting. I think it's a very interesting time.
That is the future. That is the future. Yeah. We need to accept, because this feminine masculine feeling, it's gonna affect this fundamental idea. It's gonna affect all of you, because look, I've been bullied. Let's say because I'm skinny. I was skinny. Some people bully it because they are a bit fatter. So there was the normal thing. You see what I mean? There's no normal. I think we should understand that we are all different. Color, shapes, tall. Maybe my nail is taller than yours, and so this is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. We need to embrace that. And I really genuinely think that.
I agree.
Because I've been bullied in the school because I was slim. And I am slim now, and maybe I am a bit slim, but I like myself. I like myself how I am. Doesn't matter, because sometimes the media tells you how you look, how you need to look like, and then it's very sad. We need to be happy with ourselves, and if you're slim or fat, doesn't matter. Yeah,
I think so, and I think it's like people hold a lot of fear about maybe their own looks, or about whether or not they're kind of the correct kind of person to be dancing this way or that way, and people often sort of say, "Oh, am I too old to come to classes?" That's like the worst. The worst things I hear are, "I'm too old" or "I'm too big." They're the two things that break my heart when people say, "Oh, I can't really do it because of these things," and but they're labels as well. Age as well, and size, and all these things, and you know, belly dance does quite a good job.
Yeah,
of
I think
actually,
it does a good job.
You know, negotiating this. But I think, having said that, I think one of the last things that belly dancers manage to do well is the whole, you know, male-female dancer thing. I think it did take a while for it to sort of just become like a non-event, if you know what I mean. Before it was like, oh, male belly dancer, wow.
Yeah, now it's not, right?
Yeah, and now it's like, you know, a dancer.
When I first
it's
started,
a lot better now.
like when I first moved to Europe, it was like a handful male belly dancer, maybe 10, 8, I don't know. Something like a handful. But now is many, which is good. Very interesting. It's a very deep.
We've gone deep.
We've gone deep. With me always like that.
Yeah, me too.
I'll tell you a very interesting, being different shape and performing. I have like dance productions. One of them was, I started with like one show called One Day in Istanbul. I toured that. And the second one was Aşk, which is mean love in Turkish. And the third one, the current one, is Tales of a Sleeping Man.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I travel the world and I locate myself in different territories in the world, and I stay there for 3 months, and I use local dancers. I train them, so we do the show. Anyhow, I'm not sure which country was it, but I think in Switzerland, friend of mine's, they came to see the show, and they are non-dancers, which is, I appreciate the non-dancers' critics because they are the audience, because sometimes we can be in one side, and in my show, I use different size and shapes and tall, short. Doesn't matter. I mean, I choose person. I don't choose choose person. Comes. I see person, different person, one person. If that suits to the moment, it does. So I don't have like you're big or small. And then I think what's happened was, I think that specific lady had a solo and she was kind of a large lady. But in belly dancing, it's normal, maybe. But in non-belly dancing, it's a little bit. So my friends was saying me, wow, we seen this beautiful lady. But the way she danced, she was so comfortable with herself. She was really large, big. She looks very yummy.
Yeah.
They say to me, they commented, out of all these dancers, some of them were skinny, they didn't even care about me. They said, oh, that lady with big, how she was dancing with the confident.
Yeah.
So nobody noticed that, because you notice how confident she dances. It's a celebration of who you are, your body.
Yes, definitely.
The celebration.
Yeah.
What you got, all this thing.
And just feeling comfortable. I always call it feeling at home in your body.
Yeah.
How to feel more at home in your dancing and at home in your body. I think that's a really important feeling to aspire to, if you like. That's what I aspire to as a dancer. I want to feel at home in my body so I can express as best I can.
And it's a very cruel thing. I think such a cruel thing, because I've been going in kind of things in my past. Bullied for some other reasons. I think it's very cruel things to see someone on the street say he is or she is fat or slim, because you don't know. Maybe they have this eating disorder. Maybe they like greedy. They eat, and it's not good to their health. But it's none of your business anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I agree, and I think it would. I think it would make the world a kinder place if we could just try, because I'm sure we all do it. We do deep inside. You make assumptions and you think things. And I think it's one of those things that you just need, especially these days. You need as much kindness, and generosity with people as much as possible. I think that's why people tend to gravitate towards belly dance, because they feel that acceptance. Even though sometimes people can feel more comfortable about themselves in the belly dance world, even there, people can still sometimes feel a bit self-conscious. But especially, I just had 2 kids now, and I feel quite vulnerable, especially coming back after the second one, and your body's not the same, and all that kind of thing. And I try and give myself, the advice I've given myself is to don't think about the shape so much of your body. Think about trying to be strong in your body. So my mantra to myself has been, get stronger. Be strong so you can do the dancing with strength. And that's worked for me pretty well. And I would advise that to anyone who feels conscious about their bodies.
Funny enough, you say that. Because I was watching I was listening some YouTube things while I was coming here. I like Abraham Hicks. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah, Abraham
Love
Hicks.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I'm
know.
a big fan. I hope she comes
Yeah.
to UK or in US. I go to her
Yeah.
seminars. I'm a big fan. And there was a topic like, do you wanna be unhappy and look great, or do you wanna say, let's say, look fat but very happy? You know, happiness is important. Doesn't matter how do you look. Some people not agree to your look, but what's the point? It's their thing. So you know, happiness is important. But I think new generation, I see the new generation. They have a different hair. They have the piercing. Freedom. They can do whatever they like to with their hair. It's a freedom. And you know, such people like Lady Gaga, you watch. She does it in an extreme way to open up people to see how beautiful we can be with a different thing. It is.
Well,
I might cry now.
Well, I think that's a really nice way to wrap this up. Because my last question was going to be, you know, what are your thoughts for, you know, dancers that might feel a bit insecure or, you know, that kind of thing. But I think you just you know, you said a lot about that.
You need to work on yourself, personality. Don't be comfortable with what you have, like your hair, your color, and change if you like, cut your hair or something like that. Even plastic surgery, do it. But that's the thing, like, what's the point? If you're happy with yourself, you don't need all these things. You don't need to change things. You don't do a little bit makeup. If you're happy with yourself, you don't do those things. And then, believe me, nicer person comes out. You know,
focus on the right things. Focus on the inside. Yeah, definitely.
It is true. Oh. It is very true.
Thank you so much for sharing all
My
your
pleasure.
words of wisdom. How awesome was that? Thank you so much. You're a superstar.
You're gorgeous. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. I hope you enjoyed that, guys.
Follow me on Instagram. Yeah.
Oh yes, that was the last thing. How can we find you?
I know. On Facebook, Ozgen Belly Dance, or on Instagram, Ozgen Dance. I put a lot of Instagram video.
Yes. Do follow Ozgen on all this stuff because he's very generous. He gives you the dancing. He shows you what he's doing. You can be inspired. I follow you on all that stuff, and I get a lot of inspiration from it. So there you go.
All the best, guys. Thank you.
Bye.